language matters very much. When I first started out on the self-development journey, and especially when I started learning about emotional intelligence and emotional intelligence skills, I noticed that people in this field use very soothing and calm language, very soft terms. For example, the word limiting belief. Other terms for this particular example are misunderstanding or mistake. Now, when I started out, I've used the same words because I thought, yeah, sure, that's what that's what it's called, right? But I already noticed that misunderstanding, I just didn't like that term at all. So I stuck with limiting belief for a very long time. But then, to me, this still did not sound right. Now, why was that? See, all this soft language, if it works for you, by all means, go for it. But it didn't work for me. Because every time I called something, I gave something such a harmless name, I thought it wasn't really a priority. Limiting belief, yeah, it's limiting, so it's not a good thing. Absolutely. But at the same time, it sounds so harmless that, I can fix it whenever I get around to it, right? It's just a limiting belief. But what a limiting belief really is it influences the thoughts you think, how you feel, your mood every single day, and every single action you take, the decisions you make about your life, in your life. That's what a limiting belief really is. It's a big, big deal. So I started calling them lies. I'm a very honest person. I hate lies. I try never to tell one, if possible. And I've really, really hated when other people lie to me. So by just making this little shift from limiting belief to a lie, suddenly my limiting beliefs, my lies, were at the top of my list. And wow, was I motivated to change them. Because I don't like to lie to myself. So that's not an option anymore, right? Wasn't an option anymore for me. So I focused on my limiting belief. When we make a switch in language, when we use the words that work for us best, we can motivate ourselves just through that. And what do I mean work best? I mean the words that make us actually take action, go for the change we really want. That's the language. So all this tiptoeing around your feelings may make you feel comfortable. But if you truly want to change, you got to be uncomfortable first. I don't mean loathe yourself or hate yourself or loathe and hate others, but you want to be a little bit uncomfortable. You want to go through, find your edge to the point where you are ready to change, because you just look at this word and what it represents and tell yourself, hell no, that's not gonna happen anymore to me. And that's what it was for me when I switched from limiting belief to lies. Another very important switch I made recently is I used to think of the person I was before I learned emotional intelligence skills with, well, I would swaddle her into an emotional blanket, right? So we're supposed to have compassion for ourselves and supposed to have compassion for others. And I'm not arguing with that. You can absolutely feel compassion. You can also see your past self and see the people around you for who they truly are. And you want to express that in the language that works best for you. So when I look back at myself, at the person I used to be, I was a very angry person. I would take my anger out on other people. Now I know this anger was never about anyone else. It was never about the situations I was in. This was built up anger in my system because I did not have the emotional intelligence skills. I did not practice emotional hygiene and had zero self-awareness. So I thought it was about other people, but it never was. But as I shouted at others for no reason whatsoever, I wasn't misguided. I wasn't an innocent little whatever. I was a monster. When I had crippling anxiety and could barely get out of bed, I was a burden to my family. Again, I could not connect to anyone on an emotional level. I was a monster. This may be a very harsh word for you, but to me it works. Because when I look back and I see the person I used to be, this is about the past. I know it's the past. And I know that I'm no longer this person. But what it does by looking at myself and using this word monster, it helps me understand how truly important emotional intelligence skills are. So if I have a day when I may, overthink my emotional hygiene techniques and may want to be slack about them, I no longer am. I will go for that walk. I will exercise every single day because I no longer want to be a monster. Being calm and happy it's about us. It's about who we are, but it affects everybody in our lives, not just family and friends. Every single person who ever has to interact with us during a day is affected by the way we feel. Emotional intelligence skills matter. When we take out our emotions on other people, we're not misguided. We're monsters. We may not know what we are. We may not fully realize it, but it's bad. It's so bad that I personally have made emotional intelligence skills my number one priority every single day of my life. So if you find this helpful, embrace these terms. Yeah, they are uncomfortable. But when you want to grow, you want to be a little bit uncomfortable. It's not about beating yourself up because it's all about the past. I'm no longer a monster now. I used to be one. But knowing exactly who I was and what I did, and that I can now absolutely avoid it just by practicing emotional intelligence skills, now that is, to me, absolutely priceless. It's the best motivation I could ever possibly have. If this resonates with you, change your language too. Find what works best for you. And yes, absolutely treat that monster you used to be with compassion and care. Just understand you do not actually have to be that person anymore. You can change anytime you want. Language matters. It's a powerful tool. So use it any way that works for you. Until next time.